Let's talk about the furry comic Ample Time. Sitting at a nice healthy 200 plus pages, we follow the college life of a socially anxious fennec fox named Ripple. Ripple has troubles with social cues, making friends, etc., etc. She's basically the quiet girl character and struggles with even day to day social interactions like ordering something at a fast food place. But she's not taking this debilitating weakness lying down. Ripple, as a college student, is also taking a developmental psychology course in order to learn about how people act so that she can better herself. What? A character with a crippling weakness that is actively trying to combat and get over it through education and training? Nice! Tell me more, Ample Time. What's she like? Well, seeing a panda girl come into her lecture class on the first day and staring at her sensual bare shoulders tells me right away that she's a lesbian. The grayscale artwork really makes this girl stand out since she has dark markings on her face and often chooses to wear dark, patterned clothing. The hottie palati that Ripple is lusting after is Amethyst Grayson, a former child model who, after breaking away from the wildly toxic modeling world, has resettled as a competitive swimmer and college student. The only thing is, these two have met before. An extended flashback or two tells us that Ripple and Amethyst went to the same primary school, where Ripple was the class wallflower, and Amethyst was the cold-hearted child model whose childhood had been cut short by the industry. Normally, this is where I would roll my eyes, the whole childhood sweethearts thing, but that's not really what happened. Special emphasis is placed on several flashbacks to really flesh out who these girls are and where they came from. Ample Time really takes its time showing how timid Ripple can be in front of a more charismatic and sometimes intimidating woman like Amethyst. But at the same time, her social weakness does not get the better of her all the time. It comes in waves, it ebbs and flows, so progress can be made not only socially, but storyline-wise as well. It keeps Ripple from being a one-note character, or a one-trick pony, and allows the story to happen without too much frustration for the reader. Stuff does happen, and this comic has a strong foundation because it puts together all the building blocks before stuff does happen. Romance comics, especially furry romance comics, usually follow the same plot structure. Phase 1 is the will they, won't they phase. Your mileage may vary, but the shorter the better most of the time. We already know that they're going to get together, so why linger here for too long? Phase 2 begins after the love confession or the first date and follows the couple through the honeymoon phase of the relationship. Phase 3 is the rarest phase as it's the conflict phase that tests the relationship. Only the strongest and best romance comics even get this far. The couple settles in, discovers each other's flaws and weaknesses, understand that they're not picture perfect, and work through conflicts either together or against one another, serving ultimately to either break them apart or strengthen the relationship. Now, unfortunately, Ample Time is sitting pretty firmly in Phase 1 right now, the will they, won't they phase. 200 pages in, still in Phase 1, and we still haven't even had the first kiss yet. A good amount of that is setup information and flashbacks, though, so they're not really a waste of time. Most of the time, I just bite the bullet and skim through Phase 1 of romance comics because you know they're gonna get together. The only question is when. But this comic sets up a rock-solid foundation so you really get to know both of these people before they get together and get to know each other. I can't quite put my talons on why it works so well here. It's just not boring. They act like people with real problems, real opinions, and plenty of little quirks and habits that make them likable. The author of Ample Time is a fantastic character creator, if anything, and that is high praise coming from yours truly. But before I send you away thinking that the comic's pacing is super slow, gosh, it's 200 plus pages and they haven't even gotten together yet, I should probably mention that Amethyst is a pole dancer. Ah, you looked up from whatever you were doing, didn't you? Got your attention now. She is a plus-size girl, but she must have abs made of steel because she can ride a pole like she's defying gravity without so much as breaking a sweat. Now, it's not unusual to work your way through college with a day job or a side gig here or there, but this was a pretty big shocker. Not only that, but she invites Ripple and her friend too to come see her at her job without telling them that she works at such an establishment. Now, don't get me wrong, she's not a stripper, but wow, that is a forward move to make with a girl you like. Hey, I'm a pole dancer, come watch me shake my ass on stage. She's doing a mating dance, Ripple. Don't look directly at it. You'll get hypnotized by her boobies. I'm a bird. I know all about mating dances. There will be no escape. Run for it, you dumb lesbian. I tease. But points to this comic for giving us 100 pages of setup before suddenly veering into the horny, because Ripple is not brave enough to even find out if Amethyst is actually gay or anything like that. Amethyst is going to be wearing the pants and making all the moves because while Ripple is having her internal social struggling, it looks like the panda woman has decided that she wants some fennec fox for dinner, if you know what I mean. Anyway, is there anything going on in the background or under the hood? Does Ample Time have anything to say outside of the story going on in the background? Well, as far as backgrounds go, no, not really. The majority of the time there are no backgrounds to speak of, so I couldn't glean any extra information about the environment or the world that this takes place in. It does, however, have some pretty in-your-face racism stuff going on. Birds especially are viewed as rare, and terms like warmlanders are thrown around for animals that are from hotter environments. We see a cop try to pick a fight with a non-student, a painted dog, on the academy campus that's just waiting for his sister. Ripple herself is passively racist towards polar bears, as she finds them extra intimidating and would not approach one without others around her engaging in the conversation. This is all well and good as it flavors the setting. College and academy campuses are always a melting pot of clashing cultures, morals, and political views. They serve as a microcosm of what the real world will be like, especially to people that grew up in communities that are mostly of their own race or species. Furry comics often get used as a lens to explore the idea of and the damaging nature of racism. Even the mighty Beastars was not immune to this. But as far as its commentary, it's hard to tell if Ample Time is actually saying anything besides racism bad. It's not really clear if this world is in the middle of the integration section of its history, but there's definitely some species tension going on here, and it does bleed into the story to remind us that it's there now and then. Sometimes subtly with Ripple's thoughts, other times overtly with people like the racist cop on campus. So the short answer is no, there's no deeper meaning or commentary going on here. Campus life is always diverse, politically, racially, religiously, etc., and Ample Time does not shy away from that, which honestly I respect. So should you read Ample Time? I would give a hesitant yes. We're 200 pages into this lesbian romance comic, and the main couple still hasn't gotten together. It's very, very slow. But it has well-rounded characters. Everyone has an equal but not overwhelming amount of baggage. Backstories and interactions make sense and they're sprinkled through the narrative. There's very little in the way of stakes, but there is a sense of progression, which is always nice. Longtime readers will be rewarded with characters that grow and change over time, which is always a sign of good writing. The artwork starts good, stays good, and improves steadily over time. The racial tension that pervades through the comic, while it adds nothing to the overall story, is a fact of life on college campuses, since that is where students will meet people who are not like themselves. This is a very real and mature thing to touch on for a comic like this. All in all, I'd say it's a pretty solid read and slow to boil comic. I'd say check it out.